For some time, I've been using Algorand and other DeFi platforms. But one question has always bothered me. Am I actually making money, or am I just losing my shirt? Most crypto platforms don't offer a good way to track your earnings, so I decided to start an experiment. I put $100 into 3 different Algorand DeFi platforms. This is the result. Hey, what's up, guys? Frugal VC coming back here with another portfolio update, our Algorand DeFi experiment. Big upside this week, kind of good news for a change. Nice to see that. I'm sure a lot of you are following along on the price of crypto, that it's been on the rise again lately. Is this a bull market start or just a general upswing? We don't really know. And frankly, I think anyone that tells you they do know is full of beans, but nice to see it anyway. I'm happy. You know, the strategy I think that you employ is that you don't really need to know. The point is when prices are down, then you buy, and when they're way above all-time highs, you sell off and take some profits. I'm definitely not in profit-taking territory. I could take some profits on some stuff I bought a few weeks ago, but that's in fact a lot of stuff we'll see. If you bought $100 of Bitcoin, you're way up right now. Back when we started this experiment way back in March. So enough of that. Let's get into it. We got it all on the chart here. So yeah, here's our chart and looking pretty good. This is the current week. We had been on a downtrend for a long time, way back since April, and we are up. The price of Bitcoin leading the charge, of course. We very rarely went under water in our $100 worth of Bitcoin, whereas we did in a lot of other things. But Bitcoin currently at that $100 of Bitcoin back in March when we started the experiment, now worth 116.55, still holding true to our thesis that your best bet was to simply hold on to Bitcoin and let it go. Now that may change later on. We'll see. We're going to keep tracking it. That's why we do the experiment. Tiny Man, as you can see, recovered, you know, and had the smallest upswing, unless you count Folks Finance, but that I'm not counting Folks Finance just because that was the holdover from our algo stake. And we all know what happened with algo stake. It just went under. It just went down. That was an unexpected twist in our little scheme here. But Algorand recovering a lot, still way down from, remember we were back in April 14th, which is our last date on here. We were actually up on our $100 of Algorand. And at least we're heading that direction. It's nice to see Algorand price starting to move the other way and keep pace with a lot of the other cryptos. I'd say it's been about average, and considering it has been less than average, I'm calling that a win, because good for algo. But interesting that it's dropped so much compared to Bitcoin, where Bitcoin we were, you know, very rarely on a couple of weeks. I'd say 3 weeks out of the whole, you know, this is more than 3 months, and that's not all reflected here. We still have some months that aren't showing here, and I'm going to have to start. This is probably the last week I can put all these on here. I'm going to have to start cutting off from the end. But yeah, since the start, it's only been down 3 times. Tiny Man recovering. So now Tiny Man is the USDC/algo pair, and that has made it more stable. So as you can see, it hasn't dropped as much as the others. It also didn't recover as much as the others. So we just have kind of some general stability there. Algo, we talked about algo, Folks Finance. You know what the story is. That's just straight up algo that I put $15, $15.50 worth into Folks Finance. That was what was left over from algo stake when it went under. And algo stake had been up to like 130. That was one of the best performing ones at certain points. And then that stopped. Now it's down where you see it. Then it crashed. It just died. The project completely went under, and we have Folks Finance instead. It's supposed to be making a slow, steady 8% return, but of course the price of algo is killing that. So, but that's recovered a little bit. That's nice to see. It's at 11, what was it, 48? So that's nice to see. And let's see, we went through all the other ones. Lofty, same story as usual. 14 properties not paying, 6 cents daily rent. Nothing to really report there. I know I get emails about activity and that they're working on stuff, and yeah, that's great, but it is what it is, right? Let's see, altcoin portfolio, Polygon, Mina, Metastyle, PYR, Blur. Cost basis there now $700. I put a little more money into Polygon while it was down, and we're still at 532.43. So we're still down on that one. We were up around the time we were up on Bitcoin. We were also up on that portfolio. HBAR, we got $225 in for cost basis, and we're at 170, so down. Cosmos cost basis 310. That's at 296 right now, so it's actually lower, and that's rather unusual. I say near, I didn't talk about near cost basis 150, and we're at about 121, really 122 with 87 near, so we're down on those as well. Total of our 8-coin bull market, 8 coins for the bull market, cost basis is 1335, and total right now is 1120. Other news, Bitcoin, I'm doing pretty well. I haven't tracked very well my Bitcoin deposits, but I seem to be up on those. It's probably the one thing I'm actually up on right now for the year. So nice to see that. Nice to see Polygon, and Polygon did not actually. Polygon's still down on the year, which is really interesting. I follow Grit Crypto. Grit is a great, like, there's a great general kind of investment thing. Great general investment thing, and they have a crypto newsletter as well. It's pretty good. It's kind of like the basics, if you're really into this stuff, this will be like the basic news that you'll get, but it's good to have that every day. Everything else is way up on the year, including Bitcoin, and then Polygon's the one that's still down. So, but they only track like 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. Even Solana's up. The Solana crashed way earlier, so very interesting to see, but it's nice to see some good progress here. I don't know that we learned a lot other than, the price. I'd say what we learned this week is that the price changes your outcomes more than just about anything else. APRs don't really seem to matter that much because the prices just fluctuate so much that they end up determining your results more than any APRs, which is not to say that they don't matter, but in a way they kind of don't. Now, it wouldn't matter if you could, if it was like something you could put it in for 10 years, eventually the price is probably going to go back up for most of the stuff, right? But usually these things are more like a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months. So you could end up having to cash out at a very inopportune time. And then you're just stuck, either just stuck holding the asset or you got to sell for a loss. Like if these ran out right now, I'd be taking a huge bath on Kamada. I'd be losing more than half my investment. And it doesn't matter that I've been earning rewards because the prices have dropped so much. Especially with ASAs. I think ASAs are just, I'm not doing anything with ASAs outside of this experiment right now for that very reason. I mean, I put this money in so I could see what would happen. And just to address something else that keeps coming up, people say, well, you should do this one, you should do that one, you should do this protocol. It's not about, I wanted to choose 3 fairly common, well-used protocols. Again, I had to change them up a little bit. I was using Humble, but then Humble stopped carrying anything that looked like anything I would want to invest in, like some really, really down the charts ASAs, and I'm like, nope, I'm out of there. And Algo State collapsed, so options are starting to be limited. But the point is to pick 3 that are commonly used to test the thesis. So maybe in a year I will add more, but I'm not adding any more right now. That's enough to keep track of, and it's enough to give us some data on this experiment. Someone else also brought up the fact that it's a bear market. It's like, yes, well, we want to track this through the bear market and we want to track this through the bull market. And the point was, well, we'll see in both of these environments, was it better to have your stuff in some kind of DeFi protocol, or is it better just to hold on to assets? And sometimes, so far, I think it's better to hold on to assets. We can see the impacts, like when you have USDC algo on Tinyman. That's a good one. That's a good one to test. And that was a carryover for Humble, by the way. So that's where that one came from. That's a good information, because if you have a stable coin involved, it makes it a little more, well, stable. The name kind of implies that it actually is true. It stabilizes the thing, so your losses aren't as bad, your gains aren't as good either. It's kind of like, it's holding stable coins in one of these things is almost like holding bonds, except for the fact that, of course, a stable coin can and has in the past depegged. So that's something to keep in mind too. But yeah, the point is to do the experiment and to track them continuously. So I'm not really looking to add or substitute unless I have to for some reason. So you feel free to suggest things if you want. They're just not going to get added unless there's like a really strong reason for me to add or replace something. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. And Monday live stream, as always, we'll do that at 6:30 Central Time. Keep an eye out for that. And if you want to get some crypto deals, I have stuff down below that you can check out, especially for Lofty. Hopefully you'll have better luck than me. Stay away from the Illinois properties. They don't pay. They tend not to pay. So watch out for that. As always, I'm Frugal VC. Stay safe out there. Ledger for the maximum safety. You got a link down below for some deals there too. And I will see you in the future.